Hey everybody out there in YouTube, my name is Las Vegas Jay. This is my boy JB.
What up?
He's gonna be helping me today on today's video about Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. So this is going to be baby step number 1 is saving $1,000 for your emergency fund. I'd like to delve into work ethic. Work ethic is probably the quintessential and most important part of the first baby step because you have to just work your butt off. You have to have that work ethic to have more than one job, be out there hustling, and you may have to sell some of your belongings as well to reach that point because it's very, very important. What do you think, JB?
Hey, what a time to be alive, man. I mean, we have access to be able to get, Uber, Postmates. There's so many other types of jobs that you can get out there and get involved with so that you can make that extra bread.
Yeah.
And that's the money that you can use to quickly, set up your emergency fund of $1,000, that first baby step.
Yeah, super important. And along with it being so important is just seeing everything for yourself. So if you're watching this video, we've been through COVID-19 and the financial perils that it brings with it. And having that emergency fund, at least $1,000, gives you that little bit of a cushion to make it a little bit further than if we didn't have this COVID thing going on right now. So you cannot always count on the government being able to help you with unemployment insurance because that may not come through. It may not get approved. So having that extra money in the bank, that's going to ensure that you're going to be okay during any pandemic.
I'm a big believer in being self-sufficient and just setting yourself up for a rainy day. You know that life's going to happen. Your tire's going to go flat.
Yeah.
Different things are going to come up. So having that money there and having that cushion, it definitely gives you a peace of mind.
Yeah, for sure. It really does. And we're going to move along to baby step number 2, which is possibly the second most important part, is getting rid of your debt. So Dave Ramsey says, he mentions a debt snowball. So what that basically means is that you're going to have to list all of your debts from smallest to largest, and you're going to use that same work ethic from step number 1 to start paying off the smallest debt and then keep moving until you reach that last final large debt. I have been through this step personally. JB, have you been through this step as well?
Absolutely, man. And I mean, it's really a moment of truth where you actually get to just lay out all of your debts and you list them, like Jay said, from the smallest to the biggest, and then you just start laying a brick every day until you get that brick wall. And it just requires a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, but it's really gratifying. It really is when you start to hit those goals and knock off those debts one by one.
Yeah, a part of it is mental, is your mind. You have to be in the mindset to keep going. Even if you see that you have this large amount of debt to pay off, you have to keep in mind that you have to trust the process. It has to keep going until you reach that largest debt and pay that off. Trust me, it's a really good feeling when you see that you have this loan paid off in zero. So when I paid off my student loans and I saw that zero balance from Navient, and I said, I'm not getting into any more debt. I'm not owing a single soul ever.
Yeah. I mean, right now you hear them talking about possibly canceling or eliminating that student debt. We don't know if that's going to come to pass or not, but you can have a process like this that you could follow. And at the end of the day, like he said, he's paid off his student loans. That feeling that you're going to get once you accomplish that goal, it's going to feel like something special. It's going to be a moment to celebrate. And it'll be an inspiration to others. I know I'm going through that process right now.
Yeah, for sure. And with that said, we're going to move along to baby step number 3. And that is saving 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. So this is the big boy. This is just kind of, what can I say?
I mean, really, it's where you kind of level up.
Yeah.
And
that's a very good one.
And you got to figure, like, you already accomplished baby step 1, baby step 2, and now you're going to have all this extra income that's available to you that you can now set yourself up to accomplish this goal. Yeah. So your lifestyle may be based off, an income of $3,000 a month. So with that step, you're going to want to have at least a minimum of 3 months. You're going to need $9,000 saved up. And because you don't have any major debts to pay off anymore, you're going to accomplish that goal a lot quicker.
Yeah. Can you imagine yourself going through this COVID pandemic with no unemployment insurance and also no emergency fund? Where's your next meal going to come from? How are you going to feed your kids? How are you going to buy gas? How are you going to buy groceries? You don't know. But going through these baby steps and saving that 3 to 6 months of expenses, that's going to ensure that you can still provide for your family during these tough times. Because I know a lot of people personally in my family who have nothing. They didn't have any savings. The unemployment insurance got denied, and they had to do odd jobs. They had to scrub toilets. They had to do crazy things just to make ends meet. And if we can prepare ourselves for this, we won't have to worry about anything whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And we are moving on to baby step number 4. So baby step number 4 is investing 15% of your household income into your retirement. This here, it's having you're basically working your butt off now, but it's for the future when you are about to retire at around 60, 65, depending on how fast you can build up your wealth in the future. So what I want to say is, if your current job has a 401k and a 401k match program, utilize that to 100% of its capability, because if you put in 5% and your company matches 5%, what does that equal? That's 10%. That's doubling your money for free. So you have to take advantage of those types of programs. Also, if your job does not offer a 401k program, you are able to start a portable 401k plan, and you can continue to invest into this program no matter what job you have. And if 401k is considered pre-tax, so what that means is if you have a direct withdrawal from your checking account every single couple of weeks, it goes into your 401k account before taxes get taken out. So keep that in mind. If you don't like that idea, there's also a choice of doing a Roth IRA, which is post-tax. So that means that you will not have to worry about them taking taxes out when you draw your money from that account. Do you have anything to say?
I love the idea of the Roth, because like you said, that money's already been taxed. And so when you're ready to retire and pull that money out, and you're eligible to do that at 59 and a half without any penalties, you're going to have a lot of money in there, because it's growing in the stock market. And on average, stocks over time return between 6 to 12%. So if you're maxing out your Roth, which is at $5,500, that's the max that you can do annually. And then you're, using that money over the course of 20 years in the growth of the stock market, you're going to have quite a bit of money there that's coming out that's not going to be taxed.
True.
That can be used, for vacation homes, to take the vacation of your dreams. You can do whatever you want. It's your money, but that's why you want to make sure your money works for you.
True. Very true. Your money works a lot better for you when you're asleep. Trust me, when you wake up to money, and
major fact.
when you're investing and you wake up and you can see how much money you've gained when you wake up and you haven't done any work for it, that's pretty gratifying. So invest once your debt is paid off, of course. And the 5th baby step is saving for your children's college fund. This one, I personally don't have any experience with it because I don't have any children, but I can plan to have a child, which is what some people do. They throw money into an account called a 529, and this is specifically set aside for children's education. So if you decide to use it for something else, like a children's party, you cannot take your money out of that account because it's meant only for education. And one of my managers mentioned to me that he thought about doing a 529, but he did a high yield savings account because he can also save for his children's education and also take out a little money here and there for possibly their birthday parties, little outings that they do. It's not limited to just education. So that may be an alternative to the 529 as well.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll add on to that, Jay, is you want to set your kids up for success. Yeah. We hear all of these horror stories about the student loan debt crisis that we have here in our beautiful country, and we want to try to avoid that. And you remember, you have 18 years to prepare your kids for, college or whatever they decide to do as far as higher education. So that's a lot of time for you to set up a growth program like a 529 or some of the other options that are out there. So again, I really believe in the theory of just creating that process at the earliest stage of their life is going to set them up for the most success.
True. Your kids are the future. Invest in the future, pretty much. All right. And with that said, we're going to move on to the second to last baby step, which is baby step number 6.
You have a message.
And it's work too. It's work related. All right. With that said, we're going to move on to baby step number 6, which is paying off your home early. This one is a huge accomplishment. And I just happen to have someone that is in the process of selling their house and paying off the one in Vegas.
So the thing for me is my family, we personally own a home here in Las Vegas, and we own a home in Los Angeles. And the big thing for us was once we discovered the principles that Dave Ramsey has been teaching for numerous years, it really kind of changed our mindset. It was like a paradigm shift. And for the last few years, we've been renting out the property to some wonderful tenants and just trying to weigh between that decision whether or not we should continue to rent out the property and cash flow, or if we should sell the property and then just pay off the debts. And we have quite a bit of equity in the home, so we've been blessed in the fact that we've experienced the growth over the last several years. That we actually have the house under contract for sale and escrow is open. So in the next few weeks, we'll be able to benefit from the profits and use that to set ourselves up financially here in Las Vegas for the long term. So I tell people, when you make an investment into a home, understand that it's a long-term investment. Understand that it's going to come with some ups and downs, but you really just got to stay the course and you got to be patient and allow the property to grow. When I bought the property, I remember the real estate agent telling me that the Los Angeles Rams were possibly looking at relocating back to Los Angeles. And the area that I purchased in is literally like 4.5 miles from that area where they're building the new stadium and the new entertainment zone in Los Angeles. So I started to benefit from that, as well as the gentrification that's kind of taken place. And so the growth in the equity in my home basically just went through the roof. And that's where we've seen the most growth over the last several years, and that's what's going to basically benefit us once we close escrow here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Me and my family will be doing that debt-free screen.
This is my guy. This is the reason why this is my guy, because he has done things that a lot of us have not, and he's able to give his insight on how to get things accomplished and how things work in life, because you have to choose where you're going to live based on what's going to happen in the future, because they're going to continue to build out, especially in Las Vegas. It's planning to almost double in size in over the next 10 years. So depending on where you decide to buy your future house, it may double in price and value in just a few short years.
And that's a game changer right there.
True.
Real estate is king. You definitely want to make sure that you get yourself into some real estate, simply because land is a limited resource. So if you got that ownership in some land, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna win.
Yeah, and owning creates equity at the end of the day. And renting, it doesn't create any equity. You're just paying for somewhere to live. And when you own a house, you can rent it out to someone else. You can add another portion to the house. You can make it larger if you want to, and also increase the value of your home. With that said, again, we are moving on to the last and final baby step, which is baby step number 7, which is build wealth and give. So this one, Dave Ramsey talks a lot about all the time. It's just being so giving to people, especially people that are considered essential workers now, like cashiers, waitresses, waiters. And if you help them out during this time, I'm hoping that you'll be able to help them out after COVID passes as well. Do you have any type of personal experiences with tipping more than normal? Yeah,
so I really believe in the law of reciprocity. So it's basically what you give is generally what you're going to get back. You reap what you sow. So like Jay's talking about, essential workers, they're heavily exposed to the pandemic, and many of them depend on, us going out and eating and being able to support their families. So for me and my family, I have a wife and 2 young kids. We haven't personally kind of went out just because we're trying to decrease that exposure. But what I have done is, with additional money that I have had, I've personally given that out when I've gone out for lunch for myself.
Okay.
And just let people know, man, that we greatly appreciate their service. You know, just a small token of appreciation by saying thank you and being kind to people will go a long way. Yeah. I have a motto that, you know, God willing, we have 24 hours to live. That means we got 24 hours to give. I think that you just have to pour everything back out to people and it'll come back to you. And, you know, that's how life is.
Yeah, that's very true. The more you give, the more you can expect in return. That is what he said basically there. And just be more of a human being. So if you are going to a place where the service isn't that great, but you see that they're actually trying, please make sure to give more than usual, because these people may be struggling as well. You don't know their story. Just be humble. That's the number one thing about me, is just be humble. No matter how successful you are, somehow manage to stay grounded and be humble. And did you have any lasting things to say?
Yeah, just the last thing I'll say is, you know, there's a lot of examples, and maybe you've already done this and tried some of this stuff, but maybe you're in the grocery line, you have an elderly person there. You know, you could pay for their groceries.
Yeah.
When you go out to dinner, you know, you could pay for someone's drinks or pay for someone's food. You know, it's just really about keeping that circle of love going. That's kind of what we need in this world right now. We need that unity, and we can all do our part. So it just starts with just giving what you have. You know what I'm saying? Start where you're at, and trust me, your life will be tremendously blessed.
All right, everybody, that was pretty much it. This was just Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps, kind of broken down in a way where you can tailor it to help yourself become successful in the future. Because I promise you, if you follow these 7 baby steps, you are pretty much guaranteed to become a very, very wealthy person in the future.